my hair looks like? My head reproduced itself twice next to my head, but of hair. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, hi people, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about all the books I've most recently read. As most of you know, or if you didn't know, you've been literally living under a rock. I'm under quarantine, or really, the better term is that I've been social distancing. And I've been reading a lot during this time period. So I'm making all these videos about like mostly my recent reads, but also like book recommendations. Like yesterday I posted a video about some contemporary recommendations. So that's what my channel will be focusing on during this time period, since I can't really, leave my house and do like library book hauls. But I've still been reading. I've been reading a lot of new books as well as backlisted books. So recently, the first book that I'd like to talk about is called How to Disappear, written by Sharon, Huss, Roat. It's a contemporary YA book about a girl named Becky, and she doesn't have any friends, so she decides to Photoshop herself into this fake Instagram account. And like that's the premise. I didn't like this book as much as I was expecting to. I rated it 2.5 stars. And it's because like the premise wasn't like super intriguing to me. And I was really hoping, I think personally, that there's an underlying theme of social anxiety that Becky has. However, Sharon never dived into it. She just kind of teased it and then left it there, I just felt like she should have dived more into it and just talked about it, because there's clearly something going on, but she never talked about it. And sometimes in these circumstances, I think that I'm reading too much into it, but I'm not, because the evidence is clearly there, but she never talked about it. And I also think that this book shouldn't have ended where it did, and it was kind of too short. So yeah, 2 stars, would not recommend. The next book on my radar that I read is Simon vs. the Homosapiens Agenda, written by Becky Albertalli. This is a widely popular YA book. I know that everybody's read it, everybody saw the film. So for those who don't know, it's about a guy who's gay, but he's in the closet, and he's threatened to come out when somebody is blackmailing him. And I read this book, honestly, to see if it was worth its hype. I personally don't think it's worth its hype, because I think this book, it wasn't really what I expected it to be. It's a romance-driven book, and I'm not familiar with Becky Albertalli. I did read What If It's Us, so I guess, yeah, I was expecting Simon vs. the Homosapiens Agenda to be about a guy figuring out his sexuality, which is not what it's about, because he's gay. He knows that he's gay. He's not like questioning anything. Romance-driven contemporaries aren't my cup of tea. So that's why I didn't enjoy this book as much as the general consensus. It's a very cute, fluffy, romantic read. So if you're into that, I would recommend it. And if you're not into that, like I am, then I want it. Immediately after reading Simon, I read Leah on Offbeat, written by Becky Albertalli. I preferred this book to Simon because A, I preferred Leah as a person rather than Simon. B, I liked Leah's family drama. It kind of added a little bit of like spice to the story. So it wasn't, even though it was romance driven, there were like other things going on other than the romance. And I rated this book 3.5 stars. I rated Simon just 3 stars. Just because I felt like the romance at the end was very rushed. And I don't really ship them, so like I didn't really care. But I liked Leah's personality. That's great. I didn't even explain what Leah on the Offbeat is about. It's about Leah who's bisexual, but she hasn't told her friends yet. And again, it's another romance-driven contemporary. If that's your cup of tea, then I'd recommend Becky Albertalli, and I understand why she's so hyped. I just don't think that she deserves any of that hype, because romance-driven contemporaries, I've said so many times, all into my cup of tea, and I think that they should be less written about. But that's just my spiel. next book is another like widely popular YA book, and it's called Stalking Jack the Ripper, written by Kerri Maniscalco. I again read this book to see whether or not it was worth its hype. It's a YA murder mystery thriller, and it's historical fantasy. No, it's not. It's historical fiction, and it's about, like, as the title probably implies, it's about Jack the Ripper. Like, it's set in that time period, and I enjoyed the murder mystery aspect of the book. I found the villain reveal at the end to be very genuine. Like, I didn't see it coming, which is honestly the best part of a mystery, when you don't see the end coming. However, everything else fell short. I didn't really care for Audrey's romance with Thomas. I know everybody fawns over Thomas Cresswell, and honestly, I don't really see the hype. Like, he's not that big of a deal, and neither is Audrey, to be quite honest. She reminds me a little bit of Felicity from A Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. But, like, I feel like she's the typical female written about in the 1800s. That she's, like, she, like, wants to be a surgeon, and, like, in the 1800s, for a female, that's not exactly encouraged. But I feel like I've just read so many stories about that, you know, that it didn't hit with me, you know? So anyway, I'm not continuing this series. I know that it's like a 4-book series. I'm not reading any of the sequels. I have no interest in Audrey and Thomas and their adventures in the sequels. I don't really care. So yeah, I rated this book 3.5 stars. The next book is called Birdie Me, written by J.M.M. Nuanez. It follows two siblings, Jack and Brody, after their mom passes away, as they live with their two uncles, who are vastly different. I really loved this book. I rated it 4 stars because I just found, like, the story to be magical and truly wonderful. It reminded me of Charlie and Me. It's so great. Like, Birdie and Me is truly one of the best sibling-driven juvenile fiction contemporary books that I have read this year. I know that, like, stating that it's the best that I've read this year is a bit early since it's only March, but, like, it was just so good. It was magical, and it was wonderful, and it was lovely, and the portrayal of the mom and the two siblings was truly, like, done so well in such a whimsical, wonderful, lovely way. Like, this is a book that I would want to read to my children, and, like, it was just so good. So I would recommend it, not only to the juvenile fiction audience, but also to older audiences as well, because, like, I cannot stress this. It was so whimsical and just impeccable. Really, just really good. The next book is called Between Burning Worlds, written by Joanne, Rendell, and Jessica Brody. For those who don't know, this is the sequel to Sky Without Stars, which I enjoyed and I loved, and I read it last December. Between Burning Worlds is the best sequel that I've read in 2020 so far, and the one before, which was my best sequel, was Heart of Flames. Between Burning Worlds was so good. The characters from the Sky Without Stars, the new ones and even the old ones, were just so well developed, and I wanted to go on this adventure with them. The world building was awesome. I love world building. For those who don't know, Sky Without Stars is a science fiction retelling of Les Mis, and I'm not going to explain the plot of Between Burning Worlds because, like, obviously it would spoil the first book, but, like, it's just so good. The world building, the setting, the characters, the plot, everything about this was so incredible. I rated this book 4 stars, and I genuinely enjoyed it more than the first book, and that's why I can say that it's my favorite sequel so far of 2020. And it was just so incredible and just so good. Like, I don't really know how else to stress it, how else to express my emotions for this book, because it was just genuinely incredible. Plot twist after plot twist took me by surprise. I would say 4 out of 5 of the plot twists took me by surprise, and it was just so good. I'm so excited to read the 3rd book. Now, I was skeptical about reading this book, to be quite honest, because I didn't remember that I had rated Sky Without Stars 4 stars. I thought that I had rated it 3.5 stars. But between Burning Worlds, I'm so glad that I read it. It was just so good. You should read it. You should read Sky Without Stars and then read this one. And then read the 3rd one whenever it comes out. I'm so excited for it. I don't even know what it's called. There's no cover or release date or title. But I'm so excited for it. I think it's a trilogy. Correct me if there are going to be more books. But anyway, 4 stars. Totally deserves all of its hype and more. The next book that I read is Prairie, Lotus, written by Linda Sue Polk. This is a historical fiction book about a young girl named Hannah who's half Chinese and half white, and she's living in the 1880s. And people are very racist to her just because like they don't like Chinese people because they're racist. And I feel like the themes talked about in this book are very realistic, and they're not only applicable for the 1880s, but also in modern day, especially now with the coronavirus and people being racist toward Chinese people and Chinese businesses and all this stuff. Support your local Chinese businesses, please. Do it. Anyway, Prairie Lotus was so good. I rated it 3.5 stars because it was a very like wholesome book. And I thought the ending was kind of abrupt, but overall it was a good book, a good like sweet, feel-good book. It is juvenile fiction, and for those younger readers, I would say that there is a trigger warning for assault. Not sexual assault or anything, but like physical assault. There's just a certain scene. Anyway, overall it was a very sweet, wholesome historical fiction book. So great. The last book on this list is called The Magnificent Munsters of Cedar Street, written by Lauren Oliver. Like Linda Sue Polk, I'm very familiar with Lauren's writing. I think I've read all of her books except for her Delirium trilogy and her juvenile fiction co-author books. Anyway, The Magnificent Munsters of Cedar Street is about a young girl named Cordelia, and she goes on this adventure to find her missing father, who's a veterinarian for monsters. And I love fantastical animals because I find them to be so fascinating. And Rowan's portrayal of all of these so interesting animals was just so incredible. Her world building is probably my favorite part of fantasy. It was just so good. The characters that she brought to life, the animals and the humans alike, were just so well done. Like, it was just so good. I just don't know what else to say. I rated this book 4 stars because I loved it. It was an exhilarating adventure, and it was just so good. I've said that about 15 times, but I just really wanted to stress that this was a wonderful, exhilarating adventure. And Cordelia is an awesome, well-developed, strong female character. And this is a book that was just so great. Awesome. It included like all of my favorite themes. Like I mentioned, fantastical creatures, a good friendship trio, no romance, and amazing plot and world building, and just so good. Such a good juvenile fantasy read. So, in the future, people are going to ask me, Anya, what did you do during this coronavirus quarantine, social distancing time period? And my honest answer will be that I read a lot of books. So, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And comment down below if any of these books intrigued you, what you've been doing during all the social distancing. I hope that everybody is staying safe and staying inside. And I hope that everybody is like having a good time inside. I know that this time is like scary and everything because we don't really know much about this coronavirus, but I think that it's really important to keep up to date with what's going on, stay inside like I mentioned, do all the things so that this quarantine time period can get shorter and not longer. I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm like a preschooler who's getting in trouble with my fellow preschoolers just because somebody didn't follow the rules. But anyway, like I said, I hope that everyone's staying safe. I'm praying for everybody who's infected and affected. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if any of these books intrigued you. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.